Welcome to Muskegon Rising, a community service project of the Muskegon Rotary Club. Our purpose is to create lasting positive change. We've been doing that here since 1916. So, let's get started.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here. I'm Nancy Crandall, a Muskegon Rotarian. And speaking of lasting positive change, we have someone with us this morning who has made that in this community, particularly at Muskegon High School, who is well known for their athletic department. Our guest is Kieth Guy, athletic director and basketball coach. So Kieth, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Nancy.
I have lots of questions for you. Let's start with your background, how you got started in coaching and in athletic administration. You're Muskegon native, right?
Correct. Muskegon Heights.
Okay.
Born and raised in Muskegon Heights, graduated from Muskegon Heights, and I've always been a part of basketball. I love basketball. I was 3 years old, it was basketball put in my hands. So I've been playing it all my life until I couldn't play anymore. And I always knew I wanted to be a part of the games of some capacity, And so I was able to coach. I played, and then at Ferris, I had 1 year left, and they brought me on as a grad assistant. And then I was asked to do a freshman coaching job at Western Michigan Christian. That was my first head coaching job at Western Michigan Christian under Coach Jim Gorman, the legend. And after that, I went to MCC and coached a couple of years and came back to Muskegon Heights to be an assistant coach. And then the head coach left, and I was then selected to be the candidate. And I've been head coach ever since.
And that was when?
I was head coach starting in 2003, 2004.
Oh, my goodness. So you have been there for a while.
Yeah, been there a while.
Well, your teams have been legend in this community.
I appreciate that.
And what about athletic director? How did that come about?
So I was a counselor at Muskegon Heights, guidance counselor. And our assistant principal / athletic director retired, and I was asked if I would be interested in doing it. And I was. And so I was, at that point, was selected to be the athletic director and assistant principal, as well as the basketball coach. So I had no intentions on being an athletic director growing up, but the opportunity presented itself, and I gladly took it.
Oh, that's terrific. That seems like a heavy load, doing both.
Oh, it was definitely heavy. And at that time, I also was doing the city council work. So so I had some major hats, but I was able to get through it. I learned a lot and learned from a lot of people, had a lot of good mentors, and it made my job a lot easier.
One of your mentors is a friend of mine who's also a Rotarian, Tom Ludwig, who sings your praises.
Yeah. Coach, he gave me my first shot. He gave me my second shot, actually, out of Muskegon Community College after I played there. He recruited me to come to Ferris, and he's been in my corner ever since, and I can't thank him enough for allowing me to he saw enough in me to give me a full scholarship to play because, of course, come from a family that I was the first of my siblings to go to college to finish. So it's because of Coach Gene Gifford and Coach Tom Ludwig that I'm talking to you today.
That's wonderful. How many siblings do you have?
So I come from a divorced family, okay? My mom and my dad is just my brother, Kai, and I. And then my dad, I have, with him, it's like 11 siblings. So,
oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So it's a big family.
So
I get to see both sides, and I love it.
You get lots of sports opportunities at home, I bet.
Oh, absolutely. Very competitive.
What does a typical day look like for you as both coach and AD at the high school?
Well, no day is the same. I mean, you go in one day and you have your day planned out, and then it's changed. And that's the life of an athletic director, because you might come in and say, okay, I'm going to meet with this person, or I'm going to do this, work on scheduling today. But then there's bad weather for spring sports, and then we might have to change our whole day working on rescheduling, canceling buses, meeting with parents, and those types of things. So quite busy day, but I try to get out and interact with kids as much as I can as well.
How do you manage being athletic director and still coaching at the same time?
You know what? It's once you get your systems in place, I think things run more smooth. But I have an unbelievable staff and support that a lot of people help and pitch in, and they know their role, and they keep me looking good, I guess.
What are some of the biggest challenges you face in your role, and how do you overcome them?
Some of the biggest challenges for me is, I want to make sure that our kids have what everybody else has. And, of course, we're in a urban community, and our kids need a lot of things. So I want to make sure, and we don't get a lot of resources. Our community is great. Our alumni base is great. Our board of education is great. We got great support, but obviously there's only so many resources to go around. So my task and the biggest problem I have is just to make sure that kids get what every other kid has in other districts. And so I always trying to fight that battle to make sure our kids are not being underserved and making sure that they're getting the same resources everybody else has.
That's terrific. Along that line, how do you prioritize student athletes' academic performance along with their athletic commitments?
Yeah, so when I got to Muskegon, Shane Fairfield and I wrote a job description for an athletic academic counselor. So what we wanted to do, I know that each high school student has a counselor that makes sure they're taking care of everything to graduate and meet the graduation requirements. Well, I wanted to make sure that all athletes had a counselor as well to make sure they're meeting NCAA requirements and those types of things because they're two different ends of the spectrum. So I wanted to make sure of that. So fortunately, the board approved it and the superintendent was on board. And so we have a counselor just for athletes, and we're making sure their grades are checked like 3 times a week. They're communicated with the coaches. This person communicates with teachers, communicates with parents. And so because of this, since then, our numbers has pretty much quadrupled in the number of kids that it can accept scholarships. So we're super proud of that because, I think we're probably the only school in the state that has this position. And, our parents love it, and it's a great position to have.
Boy, what a tribute to you and your staff. What role do you think athletics play in a student's overall development?
It's very, very important. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for athletics. I think athletics teach you so many things. It teach you how to fail. And I think a lot of people run from failure, but I think it's a necessary evil. It teaches you discipline. It makes sure that you're where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. It teaches you confidence. And it also teaches success. So, there's a lot of things that the athletics do. It teach you how to work with the team, work with each other. Either sometimes you're the best player, sometimes you're the worst player. It can humble you as well. So I think, athletics, it just teaches so much in life. And because of those lessons that I've learned in being an athlete, I can kind of let our athletes know about those types of things as well. So it's great to be a student athlete.
Can you share a memorable success story or a moment that stood out in your career?
Well, every year, I tell you, I've been a head coach, just finished my 22nd year as a head coach, which means I'm getting old. But what I'm most proud of is that every kid that has started and finished with us have graduated, and every kid that have started and finished with us has had an opportunity to have a scholarship to play basketball at the next level. So whether they take it or not, it's on the table. So I'm most proud of that. I don't think many people can say that. Many programs can say that. But our kids, at least when they come and they finish, they have a better opportunity at life when they're done.
That's amazing. I hope the community learns that. I don't know that people are aware of that.
Yeah.
But that's a tribute to you and your staff, obviously.
Thank you so much.
How do you handle conflicts between athletes, coaches, parents, which we hear a lot about these days, and maintain a positive team culture?
I think that's done every day. Where you have to be fair, building relationships with students, and they have to trust you. But dealing with conflicts is you're going to deal with those all your life, and obviously, we try to teach kids not to run from it, not to start conflict, but not to run from it and have tough conversations. I think one of the biggest things with our society today is no one wants to have tough conversations anymore. It's uncomfortable. And we try to put our kids in uncomfortable situations to where they're comfortable being uncomfortable. So I think, with conflict with us, we just try to talk it through, and communications is the key. And if you're upfront and honest with people and they're upfront and honest with you, I think the conflict goes away if you guys can come to an understanding.
Sounds good. Do you have a philosophy on coaching? How do you implement that philosophy in your training and interaction with students?
The biggest thing for me as a coach is I want to build relationships. It's bigger than the sport. I want to build, my whole philosophy and program is based on hard work and building relationships. And once kids are done playing for me, I want to make sure that they understand they always have a place to come back. They always have somebody they can talk to. I'm the godparents of many of my players' children. I'm at their weddings, their college graduations. So it's a lifelong relationship that I try to build. And I want the kids to know, first and foremost, that I care about them more than they can imagine. And so I think that's where I think the kids work harder for you when they trust you, when they know that you will be there for them. And you'll tell them when they're wrong and you'll tell them when they're right. And I think the kids appreciate that. So my philosophy is just being there for kids and not using kids to play sports. I want to be there and treat them better than they could possibly treat me. And so when it's all over, they can say, hey, this guy really cared for me. And once you leave our program, you can't say that you've never had anyone in your life to care for you. So, of course, some kids need dads that's not active in their life or mothers not active in their lives. And if they do have them, I'm not trying to take their place. I just want to be a part of their lives and try to make them be successful.
Sounds good to me. What advice would you give to students who are considering pursuing a career in sports in any capacity?
First of all, is build relationships with people. Treat people the right way. Treat people better than they treat you. Then if you're going to get into coaching, make sure you choose a family and a wife or a spouse that understands the grind and understand what it takes to do this, because it's not a typical 9 to 5. You're pulled in many different directions. Make sure if you're doing this, make sure no one is outworking you. Make sure you're the hardest worker. You can't ask your assistant coaches to work and you're not working. You can't ask the players to work and you're not working. So make sure you're the hardest worker. Lead by example and understand that if you're going to be great at this, it's going to take some hard work. And it's a fun occupation, a fun career, and I love it and I enjoy it. So it's a great profession to be a part of.
Well, it's pretty obvious you enjoy it. You've been very successful. You've had success with a number of students who've gone on to play college ball, pro ball, and who have returned and gone into coaching.
Yes.
So I think that speaks well for your leadership of those kids.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I mean, we call it a big fraternity. So guys who graduated, they still a part of the program. Once you're a part of the program, you're always a part of the program. And so those older guys always come back and mentor the younger guys. They talk on the phone. They have group chats and those types of things. We have a big reunion around Christmas time. Everybody comes home and we kind of get together and share stories. And the older guys always talk about what to expect going into the college areas and those types of things. So we're happy with our culture and the alumni base and the relationships that we've built.
What about girls' sports? We hear less about that, but I know that Muskegon High School is a really good girls' athletic program.
Absolutely. We have some great coaches, and, we have softball, basketball, volleyball, competitive cheer, even some females wrestle now. That's a hot topic right now. Yeah. So they're getting into that. So, I mean, we have a lot of good athletes and female athletes, and, I wish they were more supported, and hopefully we'll get to that. But we have some great young kids who are really getting after it.
Do you have difficulty finding female coaches? We don't hear about women coaches.
No,
much.
We not really. I mean, people are really, really stepping up to the plate to try to coach these sports, and so it's probably the same if finding a boys coach is similar to finding a girls coach. No problem.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Any thoughts about moving on to college ranks for you?
I get asked that question a lot and had some opportunities, but if I love where I'm at, first of all, and if the opportunity presents itself and I can't turn it down, yes, but it's not something I'm actively pursuing. But if it comes, I'll definitely, see what's next, pray about it, and if that's where God wants me to go, then I'll go there. But right here, I'm extremely happy to be where I'm at.
Well, we're happy to have you here. Anything else you want to share with us this morning?
Oh, I'm just happy to be here and appreciate the work you're doing and, getting the word out about people. And, I've always been a fan of yours, and it's an honor to sit down with you.
Well, thank you very much. As you know, I've been a fan of yours, too. So that, I guess, wraps it up for today, and we are just very grateful to Kieth Guy for being here this morning with us. Thanks.
Thank you so much for having me.